welcome to Paramecia, a One Piece fancast where we review the latest chapter of One Piece and have a different One Piece related discussion every week. My name is Franz.
My name is John.
And this week, we are finally out of it.
Ooh,
we are finally done.
Free at
This
last.
is chapter...
Free at last.
So we're at chapter 896, One Last Wish. And... oh...
What a good fucking chapter. Just... oh my god.
all of the story beats were so good, but...
I just jump straight into it.
Yeah.
Cover story, Hadradine. It just shows his model, and it doesn't tell us anything. Like, that's...
he's just standing there.
He's just chilling.
Threateningly.
He's cool. Man, yeah, getting into this chapter. I guess we'll just go through it chronologically, because it employs the same kind of, like, time mechanic, I guess you can call it.
It's a 24 hours, or, like, whatever that, like, old TV show was. Old, Jesus.
24, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's exactly what's going on, so...
Yeah, it does the same thing as it did a couple of chapters ago. Like, he's speeding through events, and he's, like, giving the timestamp, and it's happening, and God, everything that happens in this chapter is so fucking good.
Man, I dig it so much, because I just really love the way some characters took matters into their own hands, and we'll talk about exactly what I mean by this, but, chef kiss.
Yeah, chef kiss. Beautiful. Yeah, we start the chapter off, like, what is it? Let me scroll up. 32 minutes until 1 a.m., so like 12:28, and we start right at Cacao Island, and Oven and all of the children. I think one of the guy talking about Brulee's name is Raisin, I believe.
Sure,
yeah.
Like we've said before, what's it matter anymore?
The 10 billion children that are on Cacao Island are literally just waiting, and they're like, dude, when Luffy comes out, we're gonna fucking kill him. Like, he's gonna get murdered.
They're talking up so much. Yeah. And, like, they're running basically, like, their own, like, fantasy football, like, who's gonna win, like, Luffy versus Katakuri, and, like,
yeah.
what were their potential, like, game plans and stuff like that. It's literally just final... Fuck. I almost said Final Fantasy football.
yeah. It's Final Fantasy football.
Square Enix, hit me up. Come on, let's do this.
Square Enix presents Final Fantasy football.
I mean, we already got basketball with Mario Hoops 3-on-3.
Oh my god! All right.
Back to this. So yeah, they're just like talking about it and everything. And what we do get a reveal of is that Sanji's sitting there waiting, and he's like assessing the whole situation. It's being like, fuck.
Yeah, I really liked it. Sanji he's literally there, and he's a fucking trooper. He's there, and he's watching, and he's just like, there is no maybe. Like, he says on the Denden Mushi, and he tells Pudding here, he's like, oh, like, when he gets out of the mirror, like, we're parting ways, and we're escaping. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, we're out of here. Like, he's, like, all these people, Sanji doesn't give a shit about. He'll beat all of them if he has to. Or at least that's what he's implying with his, like, attitude about this, and I really like that.
We've said it before, we'll say it again. Oven's a jobber.
Yeah,
he can take him.
He could take on Oven. Come on. Don't at me. Don't anybody ever at me about Oven.
But what we do get from this whole interaction between Sanji and Pudding is, like, Sanji's, like, thinking at the whole situation, just, like, how convoluted it was. You know, they were supposed to, like, get married and shit, and, like, all that fun stuff, and then, you know, shit broke loose. And I feel like the whole situation's, like, really touching. Like,
yeah, this whole back and forth they have, I really liked it, because you really see, like, we had seen it before, and I guess it kind of got brought into question when Pudding like shot Reiju, and she was like, oh, like, I'm gonna kill him. But, like, even at the wedding, like, as soon as he saw her third eye and, like, that whole ordeal happened, I'm pretty sure at that moment, like, Sanji just kind of innately figured out, like, and knew what was going on. And, like, he sees the kind of person that Pudding really is. So I really liked it in this back and forth they have. Because he even tells her, he's like, oh, like, yeah, it is kind of funny. We met under strange circumstances. He's like, well, like, I'll be out of your hair soon. Like, thanks for everything. And she tells him, like, I really liked this. I know a lot of people have been hating on the pudding, like, the
And they can
gag.
fucking hate, and I'll square up.
Yeah, people have been hating on the gag, like, oh, shut up, Sanji. But I liked this chapter because for the first time, not the first. I mean, we've seen her after she says this stuff before. Like, she'll be like, shut up, and then the panel after, she'll be like, oh, I didn't mean to say. How could I say that? But in this one, I liked it because we get the her thoughts on the matter before she starts speaking. Because she's like, I tricked you. I tried to kill you, and you're thanking me like I must apologize. I should be the one. And then she just blurts out, shut up. And then in the next page, she's like, no, like I didn't mean to say that. Like
Yeah, all of that's touching, and it like really culminates in putting cry like not crying is an understatement. She's like
yeah.
ugly sobbing over
Yeah.
here, and Sanji being the white male warrior, whatever the saying goes.
The white
He's like,
knight
no, don't
or
cry. Yeah, and like this is where the chapter gets its title. I want to ask you for something. One last wish. That is what Pudding says to Sanji. And you see her reach up and take the cigarette.
And then cut away. Yeah, they're oh man. There's so many implications, but it's so good. Like, cause oh man, Sanji's just such a pure fucking person. Like Reiju really was right. Like he wasn't meant for like he was too nice to be part of the Vinsmoke family. Like they didn't deserve him cuz even after all he even admits like oh like even if the wedding was a trap and the whole thing was just a setup, like I'm really glad you played my fiance Pudding. Like I'm really glad that you were the one. And then that's when she like starts crying and then the one last wish thing. I mean, I real quick we can get into it. What are your thoughts on it? Cuz I have two thoughts, but one of them I don't want to be the case because I feel like it would just ruin a lot of the storytelling for the arc as a whole. But then one of them is just like, okay, one of them is she probably just kissed Sanji. Like that's probably what it was.
That too. Okay, yeah.
Like my two thoughts were she kissed Sanji, or the worst case scenario for me is that she's gonna like rewrite his memories and make him like forget her. But I feel like that would just I hope that doesn't happen because that just like kind of devalues all the characterization that Sanji went through.
I would be so pissed if that like legit happened.
Yeah.
Cause like, no.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's gonna be like a kiss and he cut away and then something else happens. Like she probably comes up with some kind of plan.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I really want to believe, and I'm going to continue to believe that it's just something really sweet like that. Like she kissed him or just something like that. Like I want to believe it's that because I thought about it when I read it and I was like, oh god, like if like I've seen a couple people talk about it on Twitter already, and I'm like, oh please no, like if she erases his memories and not any of the family's memories, that would be like the worst. Like,
yeah, it would be so fucked. Like where I stand on this is like, yeah, it could be a kiss. It's something. Have we ever seen people kiss in One Piece?
Reiju. I mean, it wasn't like a mutual kiss, but she did kiss Luffy to
Oh
get
yeah,
the
that's
poison
true.
out of him.
That's true. Yeah, but like, like this, I don't think we've seen something like that.
Yeah, no, we never. Yeah.
Another is like, it might legit just be not like a kiss, but just like her taking the cigarette and being like, "Hey, stop smoking." But like
that would
in
be
this
cute.
whole
I would like
cute
that.
way. Yeah,
Yeah, that would be cute. Like
some shit like that.
If she has like a, oh my god. I mean, he cut away from it, so I don't know if he'll cut back to the moment. But it would be cute if she like pulled it and she was like, "Stop smoking. Like it's bad for you." And she's like tears in her eyes, but she's like smiling for him. Oh man, like that'd be good.
That is what I'm looking for, John.
That'd be
that is
wholesome
what I
as
need.
fuck.
Like, oh god, give it to me, Oda. Give it to me.
Yeah. Fucking put it in a gun and shoot me with it, Oda.
What I'm really struggling with, though, is that I don't know if, like, I really want Pudding to go with him. And
I do too.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
We'll talk about it at the end of the chapter because I have some thoughts that would come up at the end of the chapter about this because we've talked about it
Alright.
before, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'll definitely remember because at the end of the chapter something happens that will automatically make me remember.
Alright, let's keep going in on this then.
Dude, the next thing we cut to 12:37, literally just the heaviest of metal, just guitar shreds playing as I'm reading this like double page spread.
There's just so much going on.
The Conquering King is fucking clashing. Both of their attacks have connected. The attacks from the end of last chapter where he was going in with Sliced Mochi and then Luffy was going in with the King Cobra or
King
Black...
Cobra, yeah.
It was King Cobra, yeah. In the double page spread where you see both of them, you could see in the bottom left, like, both of their attacks have connected. Like, you can see the blood, like, coming at, like, splurting off of Katakuri from where he stabbed himself and, like, the punch connected. And you could see the sliced mochi, like, the blood from Luffy dripping off of where the sliced mochi, like, slammed him.
But at the same time, in the top left, you see the look on both their eyes. And while Luffy is looking straight at Katakuri, like, piercing vision, Katakuri looks far worse for wear.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I noticed on my first read through by any means. Like, I was stuck in it. I'm like, oh my god, like, oh, but it's a very good expression that's on him because it shows so much of what he's thinking right there.
Yeah. That was literally like those are the face of two fighters who have just thrown their final attack. Like that's
It was so good.
It's so great. Yeah, the next page they retract their fists retract like really fast because they're they snap because they're both like rubberish, and like Luffy falls straight through the ground because the sliced mochi made this giant like hole in the ground, and oh, it's so great, dude. You just see Luffy at the bottom of the hole, like Gear Fourth has run out, the smoke is leaving his mouth, like his eyes are white. So when I first got to this point, I was like, oh shit, like is this? And then immediately the middle panel, you just see boom, like Katakuri just goes down too, and oh my god, they're both down for the count.
Dude, it's literally a case, like, I don't know if you remember in like fucking Pokemon, like the anime when they would do that, when like it was like a fucking like double elim.
Dude, in yes, I know what you're talking about. That's in, I don't know if you remember in the X and Y anime when Ash was like second place, he almost won the Elite Four or whatever, the Pokemon League for. He almost won the Pokemon League with, it was Greninja versus Charizard, and they had a standoff like that, and it was like, dude, the scene was like 2 minutes long of Greninja and Charizard just standing there, and then finally Greninja like fell over, and I was like, damn it.
That's exactly what happened here, except there was no ref to call it.
Yeah. God damn, this. Both of these guys, man, they're such good fucking characters.
And we'll see more of why this was so fucking good.
Yeah, immediately after they both fall down, we again, the chapter, it's going in like chronological. He keeps skipping ahead and he shows everything that's happening like near simultaneously, because you can tell Oda's really trying to like,
push it.
He's trying to wrap this part up so he can get to the final like escape climax and then like leave.
He wants to get off Whole Cake Island too.
Yeah, he wants to get off Whole Cake Island too, yeah. No, but the next part of the chapter we get to is 12:40. The time is 12:40, and it's on Whole Cake Island, and we see like Big News Morgan's Baron Tamago, the first daughter, I forget her name, and then like Montdor, and they're all just talking, and oh man, it's so good. It's such a good like bit of foreshadowing, because it's like Big News Morgan's like, and if by some quirk of fate he manages to escape to fight this massive contingent, like that will truly be big news. And Montdor is like head up his ass, filled with pride. He's like, hell no. Like my favorite line that he says is, even if Gold Roger, the Pirate King himself, emerged from that mirror, he wouldn't get away. And I'm just like, dude, you've lost it. Like, you have lost it.
Like, we didn't say it. You said it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Played yourself. And like the CP0 lady, she's like sitting there like, okay.
Yeah, she's like, my, what horrible taste. Like, no need to go that. Like, she's just fucking, she's loving this. I don't know, I still don't know what she's planning.
She's just sitting there sipping and scheming.
Yeah, she's literally scheming, and I don't trust her. I don't know what's gonna happen with her. I've seen people talk about, like, maybe she'll call a Buster call while Big Mom is, like, weakened.
God.
And that would be crazy, but I don't know. That's, like, worst case. I could see her calling some other members of CP0, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, because we don't get much of her. We literally just get her, like, shady-ass face, and she's like, oh.
Oh, man. After that, what we get is 1243 on the high seas, followed by fucking Prometheus, size of the sun. And Beige is such a fucking champ. I love the whole sentiment of this, because they're like, we're not gonna make it, and everything. Beige says such a colorful line, like very fit for like pirates. We were born in different corners of this world, but at least when we die, let's die together. And everyone's sitting there like all enamored from that line. They're like, Father! Oh, it's so good.
I mean, I think everybody can agree, but fucking Capone, dude. Like, talk about the most character development for somebody we've gotten in, like, because in a while, like, when we first met Capone on Sabaody Archipelago, like, literally everybody was just like, oh, he's just like, that's his character. Like, his shtick is that he's like the mafia gangster. Like, that's it, because that's all we saw. We only saw the mafia gangster side and nothing else. We didn't see him crack any jokes. We just saw him like completely serious. And as we've gotten to know him and like see his mannerisms and stuff throughout this arc, he is such a good character.
Man, I'm so glad, because like I feel like a bunch of the supernovas get a bad rap and everything, and like we assume a lot of things from them, but you know, we should start seeing more things like this. I'd really love to, at least.
Yeah, and I want to say after this, I feel like this might be a sort of this might be a Bellamy situation, I think, where like Capone's obviously not gonna say like, oh, Straw Hat, like, you know, I'll join your Grand Fleet, like, you know, we're gonna, like, you know, I'm gonna help you be Pirate King. Like, he's obviously not gonna join the Grand Fleet, but at the same time, I feel like he has enough respect for Luffy that he's gonna be like if Luffy's in trouble in the future, like, and Capone's there, dude, you already know Capone is gonna help him.
Yeah, no, it's another case of kindred spirits and stuff like that. I would not call fucking Bellamy a kindred spirit, because I fucking hate him.
Yeah, fuck Bellamy. No, but it's you know what it is? It's because it's the worst generation. That's what it is. Like,
yeah.
Because even like Law and Luffy, like, I never thought before Marineford, like, nobody thought that like Law would, like, we saw them team up, but we thought it was just like a one-time thing, like, to fight the Marines. But then like how close Law has gotten with the Straw Hats, it's like, man, like, he's like, they're, dude, they all have this connection. The supernovas, it's great.
It also shows how powerful Luffy is as a leader.
Yeah,
because,
no, definitely.
You know, the whole like worst generation thing, like, they're all sitting there doing their own things, but the one connecting tissue that has really like stuck everyone together is Luffy.
Yeah, because all of them have been like enamored by Luffy, like every single one. Like, as soon as he punched the Tenryubito on Sabaody, like,
oh yeah,
all of them were like super interested. They were like, huh, like, this guy, he's fucking crazy.
The fucking madman.
This guy's out of his fucking mind. But like in the best way that phrase could be said. Yeah, it's great. That's all we get of Capone this chapter, but again, it was just a really good moment for Capone. Immediately after that, we skip back to it's 12:45 and we go straight to the Straw Hats, the rest of the Straw Hats on the Thousand Sunny, or the remains of the Thousand Sunny, cuz god, it's fucking destroyed.
They've got like bandages and shit like over some of the holes, and it's like, honey, that that's
Yeah.
not doing shit. I
Jesus.
I love it though, and they're sitting there on the Thousand Sunny and just like, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna get out? Did he remember? Mm.
Yeah, I want. Yeah, every single person on this ship, Luffy is their captain, and they're just like, they just meme spouting. They're like, "Oh, yeah, Luffy's a meme. He's dumb. He doesn't get it. Like he's stupid. He's not gonna remember." And like I'm like, "Come on, guys." Like, look, I know Luffy's stupid, but he's not that stupid. Man, no, it was a funny exchange. I liked like Brooke was like, I we don't even know if he's sure what time we're supposed to meet.
They need to start giving him more credit
Yeah,
where
yeah.
credit is due. Cause like, geez Louise, guys.
Yeah.
So following them talking shit immediately
Yeah,
after
talking
that,
immediately after them saying that he didn't remember the time they were supposed to meet.
he's sitting there. It's 12:47. Like after the whole battle has settled, this whole desolate, destroyed place, so quiet, and then Luffy like you see his hand jump up to the top of the crater, and he's just like,
He slingshots himself like, yeah.
yeah, he not so much grace, gets himself back up, falls back down onto the ground. It was kind of just like his last like spurts of energy.
Yeah.
And following that is him remembering that he needs to like come on y'all, like
Come on, yeah. Yeah, he's like panting and he remembers literally the exact words from a couple of chapters ago. Like 1 a.m. in the morning, Luffy, after you crush him, go to Cacao Island, we'll meet there. And he's just crawling and like he's talking to himself like what time is it? And then that's when he looks up and he just like Katakuri just standing there like menacing.
now that's a power play.
I legit thought like I first read through, I legit was like, oh fuck, like oh shit, like Luffy's bone, dude.
Dude, like I completely feel that because like it was a little hard to see exactly where he was at, even like with everything going on. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
But good guy Katakuri.
Oh man, and then we get the best, the absolute, no question best interaction between these two characters, like ever this arc. It was so fucking good.
I love it.
I love it. No, we get Katakuri, like just standing there above Luffy, like panting, because they're both like on their last leg.
And mind you, Luffy stands the fuck up despite all odds.
Yeah, yeah. And god damn, it's fucking great. He asks him, "One day, will you come to defeat Big Mom?" And then there's like a surprised thing from like a exclamation point and question mark like from Luffy. And then he's like yells at him like, "Dude, I'm gonna be Pirate King. Like, yes, I'm gonna come back. Like, of course I'm gonna come back." And then Katakuri, the man who's never been seen on his back, just says to Luffy, "I guess you really can see the future." And he just falls straight back and just knockout, dude. He's like mouth agape, just he's done. Like winner by knockout Luffy, Monkey D. Luffy.
It's such a beautiful scene. And to top it all off, Luffy is sitting here, like, the first thing he does after seeing this, he puts the black cap he had for the wedding over his mouth.
Oh,
Such a beautiful sign of respect from
and he just
Luffy.
fucking like walks away, dude. Oh man, so good. I loved this interaction because like, oh man, we've seen Katakuri, like, when we saw him on his back the first time. Luffy was the first person to see him like on his back, and the chefs
Yeah.
too, but they died because Katakuri killed him. But yeah, like Luffy saw him like on his back, like eating the donuts in like he saw his mouth like full on, and I went back today to look at it, and it's so great because like ever since seeing Katakuri's mouth, every single character that's ever been introduced and seen Katakuri's mouth since that point has laughed at him and made fun of him. And the only person to never once make fun of him or say anything was Luffy. Like, Luffy didn't care that he was eating donuts, like, with his weird mouth. Luffy was just like, dude, why are you eating? Like, we gotta fight. Like, I'm not finished with you.
It's just like so much respect from everyone, and it really
Yeah.
it really plays to the whole thing of like Luffy being such a good, not a good person, but a good leader, and how perceptive he is about emotion, something that was touched upon very recently
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
flashback with Rayleigh.
He is just like, oh man, it's both of them are such great characters, but I really loved it. Like Luffy never once, when the fight started, ever like thought down on or like Luffy always had a respect for Katakuri. Like he was never, there was never a point where he was like, oh, like Katakuri's a shithead or whatever. Like he always knew Katakuri was strong, and he always had respect for him, because even when he's like hiding with Brule on that one island to get his hockey back, he's like talking out loud a couple chapters ago, and he was like, no, like he was talking about his battle plan. He's like, hockey runs out, so like I have to keep doing this so I can fight him. But like in the end, I want to fight him when we're on even ground. Like I want to beat him at his absolute best. And it's just Luffy has always had the utmost respect for Katakuri as a fighter and a pirate, and I just think this moment was fucking like beautifully encapsulated all of that.
Man, I'm just glad about this.
Yeah.
It's so powerful of
Yeah.
them to have done that. Now we reach the end of the chapter with a very good 2-page spread.
Yeah, this is fucking great. Like, oh man, we get Brule's reintroduction, and then we get the introduction to a new character named Mysteriums or Mysterums, which is obviously just fucking Peckham's in a mask. Like Peckham's in this strange luchador outfit, just like.
I mean, I dig it. I support this. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. I liked Luffy talking to Brule, and he calls her Branch. I thought that was great. No, but I really liked Peckham's coming back, because like we hadn't seen him in a while. I think the last time we saw him was before everybody moved out, and it was Montdor and Peckham's and Tamago were like on Whole Cake Island.
oh yeah,
And like they were talking about something, and so like I don't know. Look, I'll address it. There've been some people that have called this like Deus Ex Machina, like, oh, like Peckham's is just there, like, oh, he just appeared with Brule conveniently. But I personally feel like it makes perfect sense, because we hadn't seen Brule since Luffy came back into the mirror world to fight Katakuri one-on-one.
yeah.
And it's like, since he came back and we haven't seen Brule, we have seen Flambe and all of her soldiers enter the mirror world, and we know they weren't there before. So obviously Brule had to be like getting people in and out of the mirror world. So I mean, to me it makes sense that he would be able to like know where Brule was and get her, because he was with the higher ups. And also just
Yeah.
his reason for helping Luffy, I think it fits perfectly, dude. Like it makes so much sense with Peckham's character, like, because he's like, oh, like Pedro died to save you guys, I'll never forgive you if you all lost, like if Pedro died to save your lives and you all die here, like Pedro died for nothing, like you guys have to continue forward.
Man, I've been really loving this chapter. It's just all a sign of so much respect from everybody. I've been using the word too much, but it
Yeah.
really is just like, he comes in for their sake, for the whole Straw Hat's sake, because he didn't really give a shit that, like, they did so much for him before. But what really, like, sealed the deal, like you said, was Pedro sacrificing himself. And in that, he sees that, like, damn, like, this is worth protecting. This is worth doing something about.
Yeah, and I mean, this isn't outside of Peckham's character because, yeah, but before I talk about this real quick, that's where the chapter ends pretty much. Like, we just get another shot of Sanji, like, there, and it's 5 minutes till, and then Oven's like, oh, like, I'm gonna get you, and then the chapter ends. But, yeah, I don't really care about Oven. But no, this behavior that Peckham's is showing is not out of the blue. When they first came to Whole Cake Island, when they first came to Totland, like, when they got to Zoe, because remember, Beige shot Pedro, or not Pedro, fuck, Beige shot Peckham's, and, like, he betrayed Peckham's.
Yeah.
He betrayed Peckham's because he's like, no, like, like, I'm gonna bring her back and I'm gonna bring him back and then get on Mama's good side, and then, all the stuff happened. But then Peckham's, when he wakes up, he's talking with Pedro and the other minks, and the only reason the Straw Hats ever found their way to Whole Cake Island was because Peckham's was like, okay, like, because you guys saved my life, like, I'll help you get there. Like, I can't help you get him back, but I can get you there, and if you all want to die, you're free to do so to Mama.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, now it's the same thing, like, when Pedro, like, he found out Pedro died for them, and he's like, he's a big mom pirate, but at the end of the day, even on Zoe, like, when he was on Zoe, he's like, we can't, like, he was like, oh, he was worried about the minks. He was like, something went down here, like, I gotta see what happened when Jack attacked. And it's like, this, like, brotherly bond, like the mink bond before everything in Peckham's mind, because he's like, he used to know Pedro, like, they grew up together, and it's like, dude, like, Pedro died to save you guys' life, so I'm not gonna let that go. Like, I'm not gonna let Pedro's death be for nothing. And I just thought that was really, really sick.
I really love Peckham's. This whole arc has really, like, made me see him in a far better light than ever before. Especially because, like, before he was kind of seen kind of, like, almost gaggy, in the sense that, like, he's sitting there, it's like, oh, he's like a lion man. He probably has, like, some lion fruit or some shit. No, he has a turtle fruit. He's still a zone user. It's a turtle, though. And, like,
yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, Peckham's is just, he's wild.
He really is.
yeah. I didn't intend the pun, but now I'm gonna, like, double up on the pun. He is wild. Yeah, no, I really like this. And this is what I was, what I'd kind of mentioned earlier. I guess we'll just jump into it real quick. So, for the life of me, I can never, like, I'm still to this day trying to find the interview with Oda where he talked about the next Straw Hats. Like, he talked about somebody asked him, like, oh, are any new Straw Hats joining the crew? And he told the interviewer, I gotta find this because, like, I remember reading it, but I can't find it anymore.
It was a fever dream.
Yeah. He said, like, 2 Straw Hats are going to join back to back, and one of them is going to be a former enemy. And I always thought that was weird because I was like, okay, like, if they're going to join back to back, like, that's cool. And when we saw Jinbei, like, he's joined, like, officially. Like, I don't see anything happening by the end of this arc that's going to be like, oh, Jinbei, like, hey, thanks for driving our ship, you're off, like, you're not in the crew. Like, I don't see them jobbing Jinbei like that. Like, he's going to join. Aladdin has already fucked. Yeah, Aladdin has already taken, like, the sun pirates, like, off the island, like,
yeah, he's in full command at this point.
Yeah.
And, like, fucking Praline is, like, super in support of that. It was a big deal.
Yeah. And it's like, man, I just, with that in mind, like, I know a lot of people have their sights set on Carrot joining.
Furries.
Yeah, we have a lot of fucking furries talking about shit. No, like, I like Carrot, but I mean, I've said before, I don't think she's going to join. because she's still like, okay, yeah, she has the Sulong form, but she's still very inexperienced, like just it as an adventurer, and like we've only really seen her go all out with Sulong, which is a form that can only be used during a full moon and then drains her stamina like completely, where she passes out.
Yeah, or she just goes absolutely buck wild and uncontrollable, like Peckham's has been alluded to do.
Yeah, and it's like I don't see her joining because I feel like, especially with Pedro's death, I feel she was already in training to be a musketeer, and like I've said before, I feel like when we get back to when we finally get to Wano and we meet up with the Minks again, I do feel like if in the end she's like, yes, she's gonna travel with the Straw Hats now to like Wano, but I feel like in the end she's going to stay with the Musketeers. Like I that's just what seems logical to me.
It would make sense because like they've alluded that like, oh, this is your first time off the island, you need to go out and explore and stuff like that.
Yeah, and Pedro was the one that taught her like how to use Sulong and how to like fight and stuff. So I don't know. For me, it just makes perfect sense for her to like yeah, she's gonna travel with them, but I feel like she's going to stay with the Minks. But the thing that gets me about the interview every time I think about it, like just Oda's statement, like, and one will be a former enemy. This chapter got me thinking because I was like, you and me have both said like we really want pudding.
Yeah.
Like I like pudding, and I really want pudding. But after this chapter, I don't know what her last like one last wish implies that like this is the end. And even Sanji said like, you know, like after this we're gonna part ways. Like, you know, I have to save my captain. So I think now she's just gonna help them get off the island.
Yeah, but
Peckham's now, man. Now Peckham's name is thrown back into this because it's like he's a former enemy, but like he's like legitimately right now actively betraying Big Mom by helping Luffy get out. Like he's helping the enemy escape. And even though he has the mask, if they find out, like, Peckham's is fucking dead.
Yeah, even though he's, like, Mom's right-hand man, like, she's not gonna forgive that at all. And, like...
Yeah.
It puts him in precarious position.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I've thought about it. I still don't know, like, if he would join the crew. I can also see it playing out where he helps them. And even if Brule, like, snitches on him, I have a feeling he has such a strong bond with Pedro, he's not gonna care. Like, he's gonna say, like, listen, like, the same thing he told Luffy, like, Pedro died for them. Like, I'm not letting you make Pedro's death in vain, basically.
Yeah, I mean, while I do see that it could happen, I feel like him flat out joining might be, like, a little out of, like, left
A little
wing.
out of left field, yeah.
But I could see them build up to it. Like, it's just how I feel about it right now. Because, you know, it's developing at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, with Pudding, I think this is it for her, as a contender for her being part of the Straw Hat crew.
Yeah.
But I feel like this isn't the end of the relations between the Straw Hats and members of the Charlotte family. Because, like, Katakuri seems pretty tight with Luffy. I mean, after this, basically. I feel like they're going to be, like, pretty tight. Katakuri might be a little gay for Luffy, and that'd be fun. But...
yeah, no, after this, definitely, like, when Luffy... I mean, like Katakuri said, like, he asked him, like, are you going to come back to... When you come back to Whole Cake Island, will you defeat Big Mom? And it's like... You know, he asked that because he wants to get a sense of Luffy's resolve. Like, he wants to see, like, okay, like, you've beaten, like, basically, you've beaten me, but are you really worthy of, like, are you worthy of beating me, basically, is what he's, like, trying to get out of him when he asks that, like, loaded question. And Luffy, without hesitation, is like, I'm gonna be Pirate King, like, of course I am. And he, like, you know, he just kind of laughs, and he's like, man, like, you really can't see the future. But I felt like that was more of, like, a affirmation that, like, I don't know if we will ever return, but like when we do get the inevitable confrontation of the Straw Hats versus the Big Mom Pirates, we will see Luffy versus Katakuri like 2.0.
Yeah, and it will be on some level beyond what we've just seen today. Like,
yeah, it will be fucking stupid.
fucking stupid sounds just about right.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. This chapter was just fucking ridiculous. Like, I don't. It was really good. I mean, I know a lot of people were mad at. I've seen a lot of people like mad at the outcome of Katakuri versus Luffy, but it's like,
But they can shut the fuck.
yeah, they can eat my ass, honestly. Because like one, like, come on, it's a shonen manga. Like, you knew that Luffy was gonna win, and two, like, as much as people want to bitch because they're like, oh, like,
Well, I power scaled Katakuri so perfectly that there's no way Luffy could win.
it's like, dude, like, there was no, I don't think there was any ass pulls like in this
There
fight
really weren't
to make
no.
Katakuri lose.
Like, you can't even claim Deus Ex Machina because, you know, all of that is so well founded in the
Yeah.
lore already.
Yeah, all of the stuff was like well written into the character. Like, Oda didn't just make him stab himself for the sake of letting Luffy win. He did it because like it made perfect sense within the story. It was like, you know, at that point Katakuri had so much respect for Luffy, and he even said like, I inflicted a fatal blow on him because I thought that he messed up, and it turns out that like there was interference. Like, I like he who wants to win that way? So of course he had to even the playing field, because he's like, no, like, both of them have said, like, both of them, if they were going to win the fight, they were going to win it on even ground. They wanted to beat the other at their best. Like, Luffy said it, and it's through all of the interaction we've had with Katakuri, you'd be crazy if you said Katakuri didn't feel the same way just from like reading this fight. Either that or you and I
100%.
read a completely separate fight.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way to contest this. It really is just...
It's just good television.
Exactly, it really is. I'm sorry, I got distracted from my potential crack theory. Which,
Yeah.
let's get into that. Yeah. So that'll be all for us this week. We are not on break this week. Let me double check just in case. We are
Yeah, no,
not
we're
on
not on
break.
break.
And we'll be back next week with chapter 897. Holy shit, we're so close to 900. Fuck.
Dude, yeah. Something big's gonna happen on 900. I don't know what, but I know it. Like,
Oh. So, this is it for the episode. Have a great week, everyone. And here I am with the crack theory.
let's hear it.
Fuck, I forgot for 1 second.
Just end the episode there. Fuck, I forgot.
No, Oda before has said that the next person that would join the Straw Hats would be a former enemy. The next person, I have constitutional proof that the next member of the Straw Hat Pirates will be Katakuri himself. They're gonna take him on the ship and Stockholm Syndrome him.
They're gonna link arms around Katakuri and just scream, nightmare, nightmare.
Yo.
I like that.
Alright.
Have a good week, everybody.
Hell yeah.